All right, welcome back everyone, and today I want to take a look at the Cobra officer from G.I. Joe class. All right, all right, all right. So here we have the Cobra officer standing before you. Now I know a few other people got theirs early and they did their reviews and everything else, and that's great, and that's cool, and that's one thing that is one of my pet peeves. I'm just going to say this so I can get it out of the way. How come we're not all getting them at the same time? Now I ordered this guy at the same time as I ordered Spirit, Storm Shadow, and I ordered this guy at the same time. They have pushed my Spirit and Storm Shadow back till September, and he shows up. Don't get me wrong, I like this figure. This has got to be the best Cobra Trooper made so far. Now, I like the other Cobra Troopers, and I will go over why I think this guy is better than the others in a little bit. But I just want to say, come on, man, just send us our stuff. That's all there is to it. We're paying good money for this stuff to collect this line. Now I understand why more people are just getting rid of their collection instead of keeping it, because they're withholding it, and only just certain people are getting these figures early before everybody else is, or it's just the fact that they get pushed back, but yet other people are still getting their figures. So that's what I don't understand. Now listen, I'm a YouTuber just like any other YouTuber out there, and no disrespect to any of the other YouTubers out there, because they make some great content. But if they can get their stuff early, I should be able to get my stuff early, just like everybody else who doesn't have a YouTube channel or doesn't review these figures. They should get their stuff at the same time as we do, or make sure that it gets put out when you say it's going to get put out and not pushed back. That is my pet peeve with that. Now, moving on. So originally, the original Cobra officer back from when I was a kid, all right, looks somewhat like this. Not exact, but close to. I mean, this is 100 times better look for this trooper here. But he did come with a few things. Now, I think the original Cobra officer came with an AK-47, an MP-63 machine gun pistol, which I think he comes with that still now. And then he has an M16 that he came with, which this figure does not come with. And he also came with an M11 Ingram. And he comes with his knife, and then he also comes with a sheath, which the other one did not. So I think he comes with the M11 Ingram, his handgun, which is, I don't think it's a machine gun pistol, could be. And then he comes with the AK-47. Comes with the sheath for the AK-47, and he comes with his knife that goes into a sheath. So we'll get into all that stuff here momentarily. So, now that I've gone on my tangent, matter of fact, let's get in, because I don't want this video to be extremely long, because he does come with some pretty cool stuff. But let's get into taking a look at this guy's accessories. All right, so starting off, we have the machine gun pistol, if I'm not mistaken. I do believe that this is the clip here. I mean, it just looks like a kind of close to a German pistol or a Walter P38. I mean, Walter P38 is what Megatron was, but this, I mean, it doesn't really look. I mean, it would look like a Walter P38 without the accessories that kind of like Megatron had, but yet it's just a nice little handgun. Let me just say that. You have the hammer here, the trigger, the clip. You have the handle with some detail on it. It looks like they put like a little Cobra insignia on it. Now that there was actually quite impressive. I'm trying to get that to zoom in to see. But yeah, it looks like they put like a little Cobra insignia on that handle. I don't know if that's coming through on your end, but as I look through the camera right there, that looks like a little UDP. That's cool. That's cool that they actually added that detail on there. Anyway, this is just all painted in black. Would have been nice to have a little bit of, coloring on it to break it up. Even if they would have just, put a little splotch of red on that insignia right there. And it's coming through with the glare. There you go. You can actually see it with the glare right there. That is wild. That's really cool that actually Hasbro did that. Moving on, we have his knife. So it's really cool to actually see that they actually painted the blade silver instead of just leaving it all black. Yeah, I got to give them kudos for that, because they don't really do that often. You have some detail going down on the handle. It's just painted black. But yeah, this is just his his boot knife that he has, and just some silver, and then the rest is all casted in black with the details on the wrapping of the handle. Now this here, I do believe, is the M11 Ingram. Yeah, at first when I was looking at it, I thought it was a shotgun, and I was like, oh, they actually did a shotgun correctly this time. But I was incorrect. You know, Flint's shotgun, which has the pump down at the bottom, but yet breaks open. That's what I mean by it not being done incorrect. But anyway, moving on. It's just casted all in black, and you have some detail going through, and then you have your muzzle here, and your sights, your iron sights on this bad boy. And then moving down to the other side, we have his banana clip that actually plugs in, which is actually pretty cool because it comes out, and then you can have him like he's reloading his ammo. And he does have, and the pistol does too, have a port in the front for blast effects, which they don't come with. So I don't know if they're going to have them in the future, or if you just get them with other figures, then you can just add the blast effects, or if they're going to sell like a weapons pack. I have no clue. But there you go. That's pretty much it for this. Just another weapon, just all casted in black, and but very nice. Don't get me wrong when I say that. It is a nice piece. All right, so next we have the AK-47. Now this is beautifully done, this AK-47. So you have the butt of the gun here, you have the handle, and then you actually have the clip. A nice little paint here on the actual underneath of the gun, leading to the actual barrel. And then you actually can see where the bullets go into the actual gun itself. And then you can actually have you actually have the lever over here, which you pull back to actually chamber around into the gun itself once you reload it. Trigger, handle. So yeah, very nice. And then it has the port in the front for blast effects. And then moving to the side, right? Oh, sorry. No, yeah. The clip comes out, and then you can see where you would actually push that back to eject the clip, pop the clip back in, and then you're done. Right here, this right here is for this little piece, which actually plugs in. And then I don't know if this is a targeting system, a laser sight that's supposed to be on this bad boy. I'm gonna try to do this on camera, but it pops right in and it goes on the side. Now it looks like a sight when I'm looking at it, but if you ask me, it's more of a laser sight than it is an actual sight, because you're going to be looking down here through the iron sights through the end of the gun here, or it's a flashlight. It could be a tactical light also that's on the end of the gun. So I don't know, it can be whatever you want it to be. Me, I'd rather have it be a laser. Just use your imagination for whatever you want. It could be both. It could be a light and a laser at the same time. But that is his AK-47 that he comes with. Very, very well done. Last but not least, we have the AK-47 sheath to hold it on his back. So that's actually very nice. And they did a lot of leathery texture to it to give it some texture. I like the way they actually did the actual little rivets back here. I mean, they're not painted silver, they're all black, which is fine because it's black leather. And you have your stem that actually plugs into the porthole in his back. But I love the way they did the texturing all the way around on this leather, all the way around. Now that's nicely done. And of course you have it open at the bottom because of the fact that the rest of the gun has to slide through there. And then you have that Cobra insignia on there. And that's well done, very well done. Now when you go to put this bad boy in here, and you go to slide this in, you're not going to get it in with this piece on there. So you have to take it off. So just unplug it. You can leave the banana clip on there and just slide it in. And there you go. And that is the sheath for the AK-47, which pushes right in onto his back. And everything fits on this figure comfortably. And I'm going to go over that here in a minute. All right, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this review. And that is the simple fact that we are talking about the actual Cobra officer himself. And Hasbro has done a wonderful job with this figure. I mean, he is gorgeous. He's got his V emblem on top, which is actually a metal that goes onto the top of his helmet. Moving down as far as paint sculpt, you know, beautiful color as far as what he has going on for his mask. You can see his little eyes in there, nice silver going around the collar. Then you have his medals on his chest. Here's his ranking. That's actually private. I think one more would make him a sergeant. Cobra insignia on the actual thing, on the actual ranking badge on the side. You can actually slide this up and down, and then moving down onto his tactical gear. Now, as far as his tactical gear, this is what makes him look so good, and he stands out beyond all the rest. Now, look, you should have left all this off of the Cobra trooper and put something like this on him, and it would have been awesome. They should have made it to where this could actually come off, but it's cool. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't get in the way of any articulation, so it's cool the way it is. But I love the way they did the color on the actual shoulders. They colored in the pouch. Moving to the back, you have your black straps here, and then moving down, some more details as far as on the actual harness itself, and it's nice. And then moving down, you have the texture of the actual character, you know, of his armor that he has on him, you know, in the black, and then his gloves. You know, he's pretty much cast in blue. The silver Cobra emblem, insignia on him, I should say, not emblem, insignia. Moving down to his belt. Now, this is the cool part, because you have his belt, and it's all, you know, just casted in a black. But every one of these pouches, this one holds something. You know, the AK-47 goes on the back, handgun, knife in the sheath, everything. And then the other weapon goes right into his hand. Moving down to his legs, in which I will go over in a second. Moving down, we have the texture of the uniform, which is actually very well done. Knee pads are the same as what we had on the other Cobra officers. I don't know why they always have these crooked and they can't have them straight. It blows my mind. This one's straight, this one's crooked, but whatever. It is what it is. I guess in real life, they wouldn't really be on you straight. I guess they would move when you walk. Moving down to the boots, you have the covers of the boots. I like the way that they did the silver buckle on these boots. Very well done. Nice little leather texture in the back to give it, you know, some life. But what happened here? There's no texture for the boots. So these must be non-treaded officer boots. So he's got the fancy stuff. And yes, this does, before I forget, this does come off. And there you have the actual head covering, just like the other Cobra Trooper, and the facial color. Not facial color, the eyebrows, I should say the facial sculpt of what we do have here on this guy. And yes, his eyes are brown. They're a light brown. Not blue, not green, not gray. Just a nice little light brown. All right, so let's get into taking a look at the articulation of this figure. So I'm just gonna leave his helmet off for now. So can the trooper look up? He can look up that far. Even if he had his helmet on, that's why I was leaving it off. Because even if he had the helmet on, he can only look up that far. So the helmet is not stopping it whatsoever. He can look down. He can look side to side. His arms can come out comfortably off to the side. He has butterfly hinge inside there. His arm moves all the way around. He has his bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows. What I don't understand is how come they're not pinless. They should be pinless by now, but they pick and choose on what they want to have as pinless and what they don't want to have as pinless. I'm starting to understand that as of, you know, as of late. And then moving down to the actual gloves themselves, he actually has a forearm swivel, which is actually pretty cool. And then you have his wrist swivel and his wrist bend, which this wrist goes side to side, which mine's a little stiff, and then it swivels itself. Then moving on, and then this one goes up and down. This side goes, if I pull this out, see, you can actually see how it moves up and down for when he holds his guns. It's just stiff, so you know, you might want to heat it up a little bit to get it to work. All right, so upper torso, his upper torso, he has that bend in there, which the harness is actually in the way, so you can't see it. but he can bend with that harness on. If you really push it, he can ab crunch pretty well, a lot better than the actual Cobra Trooper. He can bend back. There we go. Now you can really see it. So you can bend back. This doesn't really hinder it too much. You know, I mean, as far as how deep of a crunch do you need him to get into? That all depends. Now, moving down to the hips themselves, he can move side to side, and he does have that ball joint in there, so he can get that, you know, little side to side bend, which is actually quite nice. Moving down to the legs, he has his drop down legs, of course, and then when you drop him down, he can kick out that far. He can kick back this far, and yes, he can do the splits, and yes, it's better, a lot better than most figures on doing the splits. And then he has his thigh swivel, moving down to his double jointed knees, which go about that far, and it's actually the right there, that little bit that's actually hindering his leg from just getting a little bit closer, but that's actually a good knee bend. And then moving down, he has a boot swivel, which is actually quite nice to have on the figure. And then he has his ankle articulation, which actually moves side to side, can pivot forward this far, and can pivot back that far. All right, so that is pretty much it on the articulation. Give me a second, and then we will go into actually putting the weapons on this figure. All right, so now that I've got this bad boy into a generic pose, let's start putting on his weaponry, and I'm gonna try to do this as quick as I possibly can. So we're gonna start with his battle knife, and just take him, slide this bad boy in here like so. All right, so his battle knife is on him. Moving to the back of the trooper himself. I kind of bent him forward a little bit, but if you actually take this banana clip, it will slide in right there, and then you take the flashlight or the laser, and you take this and just slide it right in there. See? Very nicely done. Move his hand out of the way, and you can still stand him straight. It doesn't matter. It'll get out of the way. Stand him straight up. You take his little handgun, and you can port his handgun right in. There you go. And that is right into the actual holster. Right? Move his hand back. Moving back to the back, and right here, where the porthole is, plug the AK-47 in. Very nice. I know, I'm fidgeting with them. And then you could take the M11, and you can plug it in to his hand. And then there you go. And there you have the Cobra Trooper with everything on him. Very well done. All right, guys, so let's get into some comparisons. Here's how he compares to the Cobra Alley Viper, and here's how he compares to the Cobra Trooper. All right, so with everything that you've seen here today, and I know probably some of you guys have already seen this, but still, this guy here is so much better than any of the Cobra Troopers they've made so far. I mean, just with the way his gear has been made, and I'm just gonna move this guy over here because I'm gonna throw this guy in here just so you guys can see them standing next to each other as I end this review. You have the officer. I mean, the knee pads are pretty much the same. I mean, his boots are different. He has the shin guards on his boots. He doesn't, and he has the armor on the forearms. This guy doesn't. Then you look at the harness, the battle harness that he has. This one's nice. It gets out of the way, lets you move. This one here comes all the way to the bottom. It's enclosed. Why? I don't know why. Why couldn't they have left it open so you could use that articulation? Made the belt separate like you did here, on this guy, and then just left this bottom piece open. I mean, that's just my opinion. But anyway, I mean, looking at the trooper himself, I mean, he does have a lot of gear on him, and he does carry a lot, but I mean, he's not, I mean, unless this is supposed to be like, you know, for a parachute or something, I just don't see the fact on why he could not have been made like this. Same thing, it's just the trooper and the officer. Almost the same uniform, pretty much. But anyway, I digress. But as far as the way these guys have been drawn, I know a lot of times in the comics that you get confused by which is the trooper, which is the officer. I mean, if you look at within these figures, the officer has a different face mask also. His just kind of pulls up and goes around the face. The other one is almost like a face plate, almost kind of like Sub-Zero or Scorpion's face mask. I just want to show that off real quick on the detail on that compared to this. And this I like a lot better. It's more nostalgic. I mean, I like them both, don't get me wrong, but this one's more nostalgic. I just like the way this figure came out, the way they've done it. Anyway, listen, I'm not beating on Hasbro when I've come out and said what I said at the beginning of this review. I'm just coming out and saying that it would be nice to get what we've ordered, pre-ordered, not have it pushed back, because there's no reason. You're putting out all this stuff and people are getting them early. You know, I'm one of those guys who got the bats and the alley vipers early. I don't agree with it. I think everybody should get their stuff when it's ordered and sent out when it's sent out. But this is just the way they're doing things. So this is everybody's complaint. It's not just mine. It's everybody's. In the long run, you know, I mean, you can army build these guys big time. And the same thing, you know, with the troopers and stuff like that. As long as you can get your hands on them. As long as you can get your hands on them. I know some people are getting them, some people aren't getting them. And I'm one of those guys that aren't getting the figures that, you know, the other figures that I pre-ordered out there. You know, as far as Spirit and Storm Shadow. On another note, you're making a different colored barbecue, but where's like Quick Kick and Alpine? You made Bazooka, but you didn't make Alpine. I know you're making Serpentor, so we won't even go there. But as far as like, where are the Dreadnoks? I mean, Hasbro, if you're listening, which I know you're not, I mean, kiss my ass that you guys are actually listening to what we're trying to say. You know, you guys are going to do, at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do. But to be honest with you, we're the ones that make the line thrive. And that is what needs to be remembered. Us, as customers, reviewers, collectors, even if you're not a collector and you're buying them because that's what your kid wants, but that's just what you want. We are the ones that keep the line alive. So either, my opinion, either they start making sure we get our stuff when they say that it's going to be out and not push it back because there's no reason for it to be pushed back, or everybody just kind of says, okay, whatever. And you know, it's our power and we could kill the line if we wanted to. I'm not saying to do that, because what I'm saying is, you know, this is a great line, just I don't know why Hasbro's doing this by keeping it to where we can't get what we pre-order on time. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on anything new that I am putting up. And as always, I will catch you all in the flippity flip.